We're here today to talk to people about one of our most common problems, procrastination. Do you procrastinate?
I don't know what it means.
Do you put things off?
Oh, sure, all the time.
And how about you?
Yeah, I procrastinate. Only because I have too many different things to do, though. I mean, how am I supposed to know which one to do first?
Yes, I put things off, but I can stand to complete a task unless it's absolutely perfect. If that's being a procrastinator, then I'm a procrastinator.
I don't intend to put things off, but sometimes I forget what I'm supposed to do.
There are some things that are so boring. I'll do almost anything to avoid them.
Sometimes I don't get things done because I'm afraid I won't do them right. So I put them off.
Isn't that amazing? Almost anyone you talk to will admit to being a procrastinator. But they all seem to accept it. They don't ask themselves why they procrastinate. And why do they? For all kinds of reasons. Sue Reynolds is a newspaper reporter. She has a lot of promise, but she's a procrastinator.
Sue Reynolds? Oh, hi. I was just about to call you. Tomorrow? Why don't you make that first thing Monday?
She's been putting off writing a magazine article that was due last week. She's put off a tune-up that was overdue 2 months ago. And for over a year, she's been meaning to ask her boss for a raise, but she's put that off, too. Sue is definitely a world-class procrastinator. She can find a way to put off almost anything.
Wait a minute. It's not that bad. I do my job, don't I?
What about that raise you've been meaning to ask for? Take a look. This was 6 months ago. Then again, 3 months ago. And this was only last week.
Yes, you're right. I have been putting it off.
At least you've admitted it. But why are you procrastinating? Could it have something to do with fear?
You mean I'm actually afraid to ask the boss for a raise?
Well, it looks that way to me. And what about your car?
I have too many things to do. I don't have the time to worry about a tune-up.
But look what happens when you put off that insignificant task.
Yes, I see what you mean. I put things off because I say they're not important. But they are important.
That's right. You need to learn how to establish goals and set priorities. Now let's look at one more problem. Recognize this?
Do I ever?
Why do you think you can't get this magazine article written?
It's so important to me. I've never written anything this long before, and I want it to be right. I don't want to just grind it out.
Is it that you're being a perfectionist, not satisfied with any of the work you've done? Sue is learning the first step in conquering procrastination. She's taking an honest look at herself and her habits. She's discovering an interesting fact. We all procrastinate at different times for different reasons. In Sue's case, she found that the causes of her procrastination included fear, an inability to set priorities, and a desire to be perfect. Someone else might discover causes like boredom, confusion, or forgetfulness. Once you've discovered the cause of your procrastination, you're ready to do something about it. Harvey Norton has been selling specialty items to paint stores for 15 years. He is a procrastinator. His list of accounts has been slowly dwindling, and he's been meaning to do something about it. But...
What are you doing, Larry?
Can't you read?
But why? You've been carrying these items for 4 years.
For 4 years too long. You should know this isn't moving. I need the floor space for something that sells.
Can't we talk about it? Maybe I can think of something that'll get them moving again.
It's too late, Harvey.
Is it too late, Harvey?
Well, I did have an idea. I've been meaning to start a whole new promotion, but, well, probably wouldn't work anyway. Besides, I don't have the energy to do it.
So you just put it off?
Well, what good would it do? Nothing I seem to try makes any difference.
Poor Harvey. You know something, Harvey? If you're going to sell any item, there's another selling job you have to do first. You have to sell Harvey Norton to Harvey Norton.
What?
Harvey Norton, what a man! He can do it! Yes, he can! He's got confidence, he's got style, snappy dresser, great big smile!
What do you think, Harvey?
Gee, is it really me?
Sure it is. You've been concentrating on your weaknesses too long. You need to think more about your strong points. Develop a positive self-image.
Yeah, I'm not really such a bad guy after all. In fact, I've probably forgotten more about the paint business than most salesmen ever learned.
That's right. The first step in breaking your habit of procrastination is to take some time to appreciate your talents. Remind yourself that you have the ability to do the job.
Right, I'll buy that.
And the next step is to build your confidence even more by making a plan and acting on it. Once you've made the first move, you'll really have something to feel good about.
And if I feel good about what I accomplish, I won't want to procrastinate.
That's right, Harvey. You don't need to go through this much trouble to improve your self-image. Just take a few minutes to write down some of your better qualities. And hang on to that list. Take a look at it every once in a while, especially when you feel yourself procrastinating.
What you reading, Pete?
Yeah, read it to us, Petey.
It's just a catalog from a technical school.
Petey's gonna go to college, Stanley.
Hey, that's great, Pete. What are you gonna be this time, a brain surgeon?
No, it's an electronics school.
Oh, so this week you're gonna be an electronics expert. Now, last week he was gonna go to computer programming school.
Yeah, Petey, and what about that night school degree in business you were gonna get last month?
Come on, guys, huh? Give me a break. I want to get out of here, and the only way to do that is with more education. Learn how to do something special.
Hey, Petey, we're behind you 100%. Just tell us what it is you want to do. If you can decide what it is you want to do.
You've been talking about going to school for months. When are you gonna quit messing around and do something about it?
Look, get off my back, will you? It's none of your business what I do.
Petey, don't go away mad.
You know, they're right, Pete.
What?
You've been procrastinating, putting off going to school.
It's not my fault. That business course was too expensive.
And how about the computer school?
The timing was off. I already missed the start of the term.
You seem to be well prepared with excuses.
Excuses? They're not excuses. They're the truth.
Ah, the truth. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Sure I do.
Do you really want to go to school?
I really do.
Then why do you keep putting it off?
I don't. It's just that
The truth, Pete.
I don't know. I don't know what I really want.
Now we're getting somewhere.
Petey, your problem is you don't have a goal, right?
But I do. I want to get an education to get a better job.
But which job? If you don't know where you're going, how do you know what bus to get on?
But I don't know how to decide what kind of a job I really want.
We'll tell you how to do it.
First, you have to decide what's important to you.
Ask yourself questions like, do I want to work with my hands? Do I like working with other people? Those kind of questions.
Those are called your values. When you know what they are, you can look at different jobs and see how they match up with your values.
So the reason I've been putting things off, procrastinating, is because I don't have a goal.
Sure, having a goal is one way to avoid procrastination. It gives you a way to put your tasks in order of importance. Then you know where to start. You'll be less likely to jump from one thing to another. Pete now understands that to stop procrastinating, he must set goals and establish priorities. Goals don't always have to be major ones like a career. They can be as simple as deciding what you want to accomplish in a given day. If you know that, you can figure out what's most important and do it.
Not bad. Why don't we use more subtle colors? That would give it a more sophisticated look.
Okay, I'll give it a try.
And we should use serif type. Something really classy.
Right. Oh, by the way, they've been asking when it'll be done. I guess they're in a big hurry.
Tell them it'll be done when it's right and not before. And if they complain, have them talk to me.
Hey, Diane, I have to talk to you about something.
Okay, just a minute. And Jill, let me see that as soon as you get it done.
Okay.
Diane, where is the budget?
Well, I've been too busy. It's not done.
Hey, it was supposed to be done last week. Our budget sessions start in 3 days.
Okay, okay. I'll get to it somehow or other.
It better be soon, or you'll have to do some explaining to the board of directors.
Alex, I said I'll get it done.
Is this yours? Could it be that you have an overwhelming task to perform?
Overwhelming and extremely disagreeable.
Do you have any idea how to get this budget done?
Not the slightest. It's too immense and boring. I don't even know where to start.
Tell me, how long have you been putting the budget off?
Almost 3 weeks.
Do you have all the information you need?
Oh, I have it all. Stacks of it. Here's the salary figures on the people in my department. Here's the information on materials. And here's the figures on printing and typography. It's all here, everything I need. But it'll take at least a full day to do it. And I don't have that kind of time. I have a department to run, and there are phone calls, interruptions.
It seems to me you found the time to construct this fleet of airborne budget forms.
Well,
you know, there are ways for you to stop procrastinating.
just name one.
One, subdivide. When you have a large, overwhelming task to perform, the first step is to break it down into subtasks that are more manageable. How about this part of the job? How long do you think it'll take you to determine how much printing you'll need next year?
Well, I could probably do that in about a half an hour.
Okay, set aside a half an hour in your schedule to do it.
I could do it right after lunch.
Fine. Now do the same with this part. Estimating overtime.
Well, with the records I have, it shouldn't take more than an hour.
Good. Break the job down into tasks that can be worked into your regular daily schedule. Make a list of those tasks in the order they should be done. Then start on the first one. And don't worry about the other ones until it's done.
Well, great, but by the time I add up these half-hour and hour jobs, it's still going to be more than I can get done by the deadline.
Ah, that's when you implement step 2. Delegating part of the job to others. Now that you've broken it down, there are probably some tasks that you can assign to the people who work for you.
Well, I suppose so. Especially if I define the job clearly enough.
Okay, do you have the idea? From now on, if you've got a big job to do and you're procrastinating, subdivide it and delegate some of the smaller jobs to others.
When? That's right. No way it can be finished until Friday.
Friday? And what do I tell the customer? The guy will kill me.
Hey, listen, I can't help it when half the machines are broken down. I'm no magician.
All right. I'll worry about the customer. Just rush it as much as you can, but make sure it's done right.
I'll do the best I can.
This is Andy. Oh, Bill. Yeah, I thought you might be that guy from Century Plastics. We're already 2 days late, and I just found out the part won't be ready till Friday at least. Call him? How about if you call him? I've already had to call him once about a delay. Yeah, I know, it's my problem. I'll call him. I'll let you know how it comes out.
Century Plastics. Can I help you? Hello? Hello?
Sorry, wrong number. Andy, are you procrastinating this phone call?
Who, me procrastinating? No. I just want to make sure I know what to say. I've got to think about it some more.
Right. So, how many times have you started to make the call? 2, 3 times?
More like 4.
And didn't you try to get someone else to make the call for you?
Yeah, so what?
It sure sounds like procrastination to me.
Well, what if it is? I'll make the call, don't worry.
But in the meantime, you're driving yourself crazy. You're not getting any of your other work done, and you're not being fair to your customer. Tell the truth. You're afraid to make the call.
What?
That's right. You're afraid of the customer's reaction to the bad news.
Well, maybe I've got a reason. The guy will probably chew my head off.
You think so, huh? No, that's not what you're afraid of. You're afraid of the unknown. You're imagining all sorts of reactions that may or may not have anything to do with reality.
So what are you, some kind of shrink?
It's just common sense. When you procrastinate something as easy as a phone call, there must be a pretty good reason. In your case, it's fear.
Well, what if it is? What do I do about it?
I'd like you to answer some questions. First, what's the worst possible thing that could happen if you make the call? Write it down. Next, what exactly are you worrying about? Now write down any solutions that you can think of. Then, decide which one to use. You see, what you're doing is bringing your fears out into the open where you can deal with them. The more concrete you make them, the easier they are to overcome. Now I'm going to give you a rare opportunity. Do you remember what you wrote down as the worst possible thing that could happen?
Late again? You incompetent. I'll never do business with you again. I'll see that you're fired. I'll have your factory blown up.
Now, do you really think there's much chance of him acting like that?
No, he's not crazy. He's a reasonable man. I've dealt with him for years.
Then why not try to come up with a possible reaction that's a little more plausible?
Andy, these delays are killing me. Isn't there something we can do to get this job done?
Now, don't you think you can deal with that reaction?
Yeah, I probably could. I mean, we've really done our best. We've just had incredible bad luck with breakdowns. This is the first time it's happened.
Then why don't you make the call? Fear is one of the most insidious causes of procrastination. It can immobilize us if we don't bring it out into the open. But if you confront your worries, write them down, imagine the worst that can happen, then you'll see that most of your fears are simply inventions of your own mind. We've talked about some of the most important techniques for overcoming procrastination. A good self-image, having a goal, overcoming fear, learning how to break a task down and delegate. But what happens when you actually sit down to start that task you've been putting off? Sarah is a procrastinator. But Sarah knows what to do to keep on track. She sets a time limit, a certain amount of time that she will devote to this job. When she reaches that limit, she'll quit. That makes the job more manageable. She decides on a reward, something she enjoys that she'll do when she completes her task. This gives her something to look forward to and helps her stick to her work. Occasionally, Sarah runs into an obstacle, an item on her list that she can't complete, but instead of coming to a dead stop, which is what a procrastinator might do, she moves that obstacle farther down the list and works on something else. Sarah may be a procrastinator, but she's learned some simple ways to keep herself from falling into her old habits. With every task that she completes, she gains confidence in herself and her ability to get things done. And do you procrastinate?
I did, but I learned some ways to keep it from happening so often.
Such as?
Such as breaking down a big job into smaller parts so it's easier to handle. And I delegate work to other people whenever possible.
And how about you? Any problems with procrastination?
Oh, sure. Sometimes, but I'm much better than I used to be. I found that if I feel good about myself, I'm more likely to get things done.
Why is that?
Well, I just have more energy, more confidence that what I do will turn out well. I'm more likely to start new projects.
And less likely to procrastinate. And you, sir, any ideas about how to overcome procrastination?
Fear. I had to learn to stop being afraid of what might happen and bring my fears out in the open.
And that keeps you from procrastinating?
It sure does. I don't worry so much about the future. I do what has to be done today.
And you have to have goals so you can set your priorities. Know what needs to be done first. Used to be I couldn't get anything done because I didn't know where I was going.
Everyone procrastinates, but it doesn't have to be a habit. If you know why you do it and how to control it, you can take charge of your life. Act now. Stop procrastinating.